Hello and welcome to Euphoria, and if you've already subscribed to my channel, thank you for subscribing and welcome back to Euphoria. In this video I'll be continuing my series on the design and build of a LEGO modular building. This is going to be a large office building and research institute. I call this the Ensgrave Building. In recent videos I've been building this MOC, starting with the base plate and ground floor, adding further floors and finishing the build with the roof. There's an external elevator that runs up and down the back of the building, and in the last video I got the elevator working. But the building itself is rather empty at the moment, so in this video I'll be adding all the details to the building, including fixtures and fittings for the interior and equipment on the roof. For those of you who are new here, I'll just provide a quick introduction to this MOC, which I call the Ensgrave Building. This is a straight modular building built on 1.5 base plates, and it's 5 stories high. Here are all 6 of the modules that I've built for this building. The ground floor containing the entrance, atrium and reception is this one, which is 13 bricks high. The other 4 floors are all 10 bricks high, and they vary slightly in shape. Some levels have curved sections at the front, and this will introduce some additional interest into the facade. The roof section obviously goes on the top. This is what the complete building looks like, with all 5 stories and the roof. So in this video I'm going to look at all the fixtures and fittings for the building. I like to make interiors for my MOCs, even though they may not be visible from the outside. But in this building most of the interior will be visible because of the large areas of glass panels in the walls of the building. So fitting out the interior of this building and adding some detail to the roof should add quite a lot of interest to the MOC. This building is a modern office building used as a research institute, in which there'll be lots of interesting activities going on. Inside the building there will be research labs, office spaces, a computer room, meeting rooms, a media centre and so on. I described the design of the internal spaces in my video on the detailed design for this MOC, so check out that video if you're interested in the design choices that I made for the interior. I'll be adding lots of details in this video and I won't be able to explain how I made all of them, but if you would like to see any of the builds in more detail, let me know which ones you'd like to see in the comments below. I'll be looking at the details floor by floor, so I'll start with the ground floor. Here of course is the main entrance to the building, through these double doors in the centre. Inside the main entrance is the reception area with a reception desk. I'll put a computer terminal on the reception desk for the receptionist to use, and there's a small bench where visitors can wait briefly. If they need to wait longer they can go to the visitor lounge at the other end of the building. At this end of the building is the security room, where the security team can monitor the building and issue security passes to visitors and staff. In this room I'm putting some desks with computers and a printer for security passes. On the wall are monitor screens where the team can monitor the building. I've used these stickers from set 76157, which is the Wonder Woman vs Cheetah set from 2020. I thought these stickers would make great security monitors for the security area in this MOC. So that's the security room finished. At the other end of this floor is the guest and rest area, which has an area for relaxed seating for staff and visitors. There are quite a lot of details in this area. I've put some decorated panels on the walls here to add a bit of colour to this relaxation area. Here I'm putting a comfy Chesterfield type sofa for visitors and staff. There's a vending machine for drinks. There's a small table and chairs. And on this side is a coffee machine. And I'll finish this area off with a nice plant. Now I'll look at the exterior of the ground floor. I've added the usual street lamps on the pavement outside the building. These are built to the standard that I use for my LEGO City, which is very similar to the standard one for modular buildings. As this building is on 1.5 base plates, I'm adding 2 lampposts instead of the normal one. At the front of the building I've added these small downlights to the overhang over the entrance. These are a design feature, but they also hold the angled windows and stop them from swinging out too far. I quite liked this bionicle part, which is kind of a gear wheel shape, and I thought it would make a good technical looking symbol to hang over the main entrance. I've also put a sign outside the building which shows that the building is currently housing a research company called Cho Research. This is a genuine LEGO part and derives from set 76032, the Avengers Quinjet City Chase, although I got it for the word research rather than any Avengers connection, as there are no superheroes in my LEGO world. At the back there's a door from the rest area downstairs to the outside. I've just added a small table and a couple of chairs here. And, as there might be minifigs walking here, I've added some protection around the area where the elevator comes down. So that's added a bit of detail to the outside at the bottom of the building. Next up is the first floor. On this level is the Material Sciences Lab. This is a clean room area where new materials and processes can be investigated and developed. Because this is a clean room, it has a special atmosphere, and any staff in here have to wear special suits to make sure they don't contaminate the materials under investigation. To get into the clean room, there's this sort of airlock and changing area. I already fitted into the fabric of the building the ducting for the special air conditioning for this room and the airlock. In the Material Sciences Lab are several specialised pieces of research equipment. I made this piece of analysis equipment to look at special minerals and materials, and there's a geode being studied on the bench here. There's a large meteorite which is here to be studied, and there's this piece of equipment which I've derived from a similar one in the Avengers Tower battle set 76166 for processing new materials. In the airlock room, I'll add some suits ready for use in the clean room. Also on this floor is the Robotics Development Lab. In the central section of the building, there's a control room for controlling the robots and robotic experiments. In this area, I've got a couple of control panels, including this one, which is to control the Omnidroid, which I'll show you in a minute. There's a safety barrier between the control room and the safe area at the end, where droids and robots can be developed and tested. I already have an experimental robot on a stand, which comes from the Space Research and Development People Pack. The engineering team are developing a robotic explorer design, which can also be tested in this area. And there's a robot with lots of legs and arms, which they're calling the Omnidroid, that they're also developing. In this area there's also some ground obstacles to test the robot's movement and navigation. In this lab I'm going to use several minifigures that I already have from the Space Research and Development People Pack. But I'll talk about the minifigures that are going to populate these labs in another video. So that just about completes the first floor, and I can add it to the building by stacking it onto the ground floor module. Now I'll look at the next floor, which is the second floor. At one end of this floor is the media centre. This is a space where presentations can be given, seminars can be held, and new technology can be explained. There's a presentation area with a table and lectern and some seats for the audience. Just outside there's a control desk to manage any recordings or broadcasts from this media centre. And there's a seating area for guests and visitors. In here I'm putting a couch similar to the one on the ground floor, but a slightly different and more modern design. There's another coffee machine in this area, similar to the one that I put on the ground floor, but on a slightly smaller cupboard. At the other end of this floor is the Energy Research Lab. This is a lab experimenting with new sources of energy. I had some fun creating this large and complex piece of experimental energy equipment to go into this area. It consists of this large toroid or donut shape, a number of pipes and a large radiator type thing to act as a heatsink. I did wonder about putting that outside the building, but it would have meant disturbing the window design and it would have blocked the view into this lab area. This equipment is designed to fit into this space, but in order to get it in I'm going to have to deconstruct this end of the building and then reconstruct this energy device, hoping that it fits in here. So it did eventually fit into the space it was designed for. Now I just have to rebuild this end of the building. I've also added a bank of dials to monitor this equipment, and I've obtained this printed tile, which I think looks rather good as a kind of monitoring panel, which I'll also put in this area. I've got lots of spare pieces from my own experimentation in making this piece of equipment, so I might adjust it or extend this later. So now that I've added the interior to this level, I can attach the second floor to the rest of the building. Now I'll move on to the third floor. On this floor there's the Life Sciences and Biology lab. Here I'm using the plant experiment from the Space Research and Development People Pack. And there's a couple of couches for any research involving human biology, as well as some lab equipment and a microscope. The rest of this floor is used as office space. There are quite a few desks here, most with computer terminals. I've built a multifunction printer and copier device to go into the office space here, and I've added a water cooler and another coffee machine for the office workers. Also on this floor is the computer centre for the Institute. This has its own secure and air-conditioned area behind this internal wall at the end of the building. The air conditioning is supplied via this ducting by equipment on the roof, which I'll come to later. Now we'll look at the interior of the fourth floor, which is the top floor of the building. On this floor there's a series of meeting rooms and office spaces, including the C-suite for the head of the Research Institute, and of course he gets the best office at the top of the building. There's a conference room and the vital coffee machine for those important executive meetings. There's another office for one of the executives at the back of the building, and a smaller meeting room here at the front. And there's another water cooler on this floor for the use of minifigs that are in all those meetings that seem to go on forever. Now I'll finish off by looking at the roof. This MOC just has a flat roof, which is built out of plates like the other floor plates. There's a machinery room on the roof to provide the mechanism for the elevator. At the moment that's a manual winding mechanism, and I explained how I made that in the previous video in this series. So now I'm adding some more details to the roof. On this side is a satellite dish and the equipment to control it and transmit the satellite signals up and down. On the other side are the air conditioning units for the computer suite on the third floor, and the ducting to provide the supply down to that floor. It looks like one of the units has the panel off and is being repaired. Also on this side is some communication equipment to provide a high-speed data connection. And finally, as this is quite a tall building, I've added some aircraft warning lights to the corners of the roof. I can conclude this stage of the build by adding the roof to the top of the building, where I've added all the other floor modules. So that's all the fittings and fixtures added to the interior and exterior of the building. Most of the interior of this building will be visible because of the large areas of glass panels in the front and back walls. So I think adding all these details makes this a much more interesting building, not just for its external shape and appearance, but also the details of the interior and the activities that will be visible within the building. So just about the only thing left to finish off this MOC is to add the minifigs that will help to bring the building to life. I want to use most of the minifigs from the Space Research and Development People Pack, but I've also obtained loads of other minifigs to populate the offices and other areas of the building. So look out for the next video in this series, in which I'll be adding all the minifigs to this MOC. Thanks for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos about LEGO modular buildings and my LEGO city.